All right, think about this for a second. America is the richest nation in human history. It's literally the most powerful economy ever built. We are talking about the absolute center of global technology, global entertainment, finance, and just sheer global ambition. By almost every measurable economic metric, it is an unprecedented triumph. And yet, we are facing a deeply unsettling paradox. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to look closely at the silent crisis that's completely reshaping the modern world.
Okay, let's dive right into this. According to the 2026 World Happiness Report, the United States ranks 23rd in global happiness. 23rd. Not first, not even in the top 20. It sits way behind countries that have just a fraction of America's immense wealth. And this sets up a terrifying contradiction that we have to unpack today. Basically, how can a country that is so incredibly successful produce so many deeply unhappy people? So, let's start with Section 1, the American paradox.
Which brings us right into Section 2, the loneliness epidemic.
Beneath the really shiny surface of the American dream, something profound and deeply concerning is happening. Millions of Americans are aggressively chasing success, but in the process, they're silently losing their health, their peace, and their relationships. For decades, we were basically told that success meant utter independence, right? Work harder, earn more, outcompete everyone else. But look at this statistic. Roughly 1 in 4 Americans now eat every single meal completely alone. America somehow mastered the art of building wealth, but we entirely forgot how to build human connection. And that number hasn't just crept up, it has exploded by more than 50% in just 2 decades. In the richest country on earth, millions of people are becoming emotionally bankrupt. The real crisis of modern America might not be the economy or inflation at all, it's loneliness.
And here's the thing. This is hitting younger generations the absolute hardest. The sharpest decline in happiness is happening right now among people under 25. The irony here is almost painful when you think about it. This is the very generation raised with unlimited technology, unlimited entertainment, and unlimited digital connection. Yet they are experiencing unprecedented emotional isolation. They're scrolling endlessly through other people's perfectly curated lives, while struggling desperately to just feel present in their own.
So the crucial point to understand is that modern America constantly sells an image of happiness. You know, the perfect body, the dream house, the ultimate side hustle. It's the endless optimization of human existence. The average American consumes thousands of advertisements every single day, and it sells this devastating illusion that happiness is always just one purchase or maybe one promotion away. And when your happiness is permanently tied to achievement, true peace becomes completely impossible.
Moving on to Section 3, the price of success.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the American dream quietly but completely changed. It used to mean opportunity, right? The frontier mindset. But now, for so many people, it has devolved into sheer survival. The psychology behind these numbers is absolutely fascinating. According to Charles Schwab research, Americans say they need about $839,000 just to feel financially comfortable and over $2.3 million to feel wealthy. And one of the wealthiest civilizations ever created, millions of people no longer dream of being happy. They just dream of relief. Relief from debt, relief from burnout, and relief from the terrifying thought that one emergency could collapse their whole life.
And because of this intense pressure, Generation Z is starting to ask a really dangerous, system-challenging question. They're asking, what if success without peace is failure? They've watched older generations sacrifice their health, their marriages, and their communities just for income. And now they're pushing back hard against the hyper-individualism and relentless competition that fracture our society and completely destroy mental health.
All right, let's look at Section 4, the science of fulfillment.
So if the old model is breaking people, what actually works? We need to move away from the cold reality of hustle culture and look directly at the hard science. It's a question humanity has wrestled with for thousands of years. What actually creates a good life? Is it your IQ? Is it your bank account? Your career status? Well, the answers aren't philosophical anymore. We actually have the scientific data.
Enter the Harvard study of adult development. They tracked hundreds of people for over 85 years across their entire lives. It's a massive undertaking, and their finding was absolute. The strongest predictor of long-term happiness, health, and longevity was not money, and it was definitely not career success. It was the quality of human relationships. Period.
In fact, the medical data on this is shocking. The study found that emotional disconnection and loneliness damage the human body almost exactly like smoking or alcoholism. That's wild, right? Isolation slowly attacks both the human brain and the heart.
The greatest threat to modern American life isn't even visible, it's emotional disconnection. And you can actually see this play out geographically. This explains why some of the happiest American states, like Hawaii, Utah, Maryland, and Nebraska, consistently score so high. It's not just about their local economies. It's because people in these states report significantly stronger community engagement, lower depression, and vastly healthier social environments. Happiness is almost never built alone.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the exact same principle of healthy consistency applies to your finances, too. The happiest and most stable Americans understand that wealth isn't built through constant consumption and crazy lifestyle inflation. It's built through consistency, like just automatically investing 10 to 15% of your income over long periods of time. Compound growth rewards patience way more than it rewards emotion.
Let's look at this timeline and see how this builds, because a successful life compounds slowly. It starts daily with small decisions. Over months, those become habits. Over years, trust and discipline compound. And over decades, a successful life is built. Strong marriages compound, skills compound. But remember, neglect compounds too. Debt, isolation, and burnout compound just as powerfully over a lifetime. Every daily decision is quietly building the future version of your life.
And we absolutely see these compounding effects in the economy. The data here is brutally clear. Americans with a bachelor's degree or higher have a median household income exceeding $130,000. But for high school graduates only, it's less than $65,000, less than half. But here's the catch. Education isn't the full answer anymore, because modern America actually rewards continuous learning and adaptability way more than static identities. You have to build skills, not just rely on job titles.
Because the economy is evolving rapidly, and certainty is pretty much vanishing. For example, the national home ownership rate sits around 65%, but that single number masks huge economic divides. Higher-income households completely dominate ownership, while millions of young adults are forced to delay marriage, having kids, and making long-term plans simply because basic survival has become so incredibly expensive.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, Redefining the Dream. Despite all of this friction and noise, millions of Americans are still building deeply meaningful lives. Because a happy life is not something society is just going to hand you. It's something you intentionally construct, daily and deliberately. True fulfillment is rarely found through endless comparison. It's found through alignment, when your values, your habits, and your relationships all move in the exact same direction. We have to realize that status and fulfillment are not the same thing. One feeds the ego, the other feeds the soul. And honestly, our culture desperately confuses the two.
Perhaps the greatest act of rebellion in modern America is just this: choosing to build a life that actually looks healthy instead of one that is merely impressive. It's protecting your attention from corporations, valuing rest instead of viewing it as some kind of weakness, and completely disconnecting from toxic comparison. Your mental health has to matter more than keeping up appearances.
So how do you actually build that healthy life? It's through ordinary decisions that compound. Things like eating meals together, saving money consistently, learning continuously, protecting your sleep, and intentionally building your community. Being fully present with people instead of just half present while staring at a screen. The truth is, the most successful lives aren't built on dramatic, overnight breakthroughs. They are built on small, repeated daily behaviors that absolutely no one applauds in the moment. Because at the end of life, people rarely regret not buying more things or not answering more emails. They regret not being present with the people they loved. They regret not slowing down long enough to actually experience their own lives. We have the opportunity right now to rediscover that human flourishing, not endless consumption, is the original American dream. You want to look back at the end of it all and realize you didn't just survive, you actually learned how to live.
Which leaves us with the only question that really matters. Not the life social media rewards, not the life advertisers are trying to sell you, but when the screens finally go dark and all the noise disappears, what kind of life are you truly building?